Hello, theologisters, sisters, and misters.
Welcome to the Cavern.
Arthur, this has been something I've been wanting to ask you. You've been talking for a really long time about working directly with your goddess. I guess my question to you is how real is that relationship?
Oh boy, that question is very big. But before I answer that question, I did actually want to read you one of my favorite stories from one of the books I read about the Morrigan. The book is called The Morrigan, Celtic Goddess of Magic and Might by Courtney Webber. That is Webber with one B. This one's called The Washer at the Ford, Queens of Death and Prophecy.
That is not foreboding at all.
Morrigan is known, amongst other things, as a goddess of death, so you're not entirely wrong there. I don't speak Celtic or anything even close, so bear with me. The Washer is a feminine figure, a character, typically male, but not always, might meet while she is washing clothes or armor at the ford of a river. When the Washer appears, she nearly always offers a death prophecy. The Washer may be a goddess, a fairy, a mortal serving penance, or the soul of a mortal woman who died in childbirth and is doomed to wash clothing at the river until her natural death arrives. Washers can be old or young, beautiful or ugly, and they usually prophesy doom without malice. But she may physically harm those who watch her. When coming across the Washer, the clothing or armor she is said to wash is that of the person who sees her, a symbol of their impending death, as she is literally washing the blood and gore from their garments.
Oh my god.
Washer stories continued well into Christian Ireland. One washer used as raven imagery when offering a vile prophecy to a warrior. The raven will croak tomorrow early. Upon thy cheek in the field of battle. From the socket thine eye shall be force. Out of this much will come. The Morrigan may be the origin of the washer, or she may have absorbed myths of a pre-Celtic washer character into her own. Either way, the Morrigan embodies the washer in several myths. The appearance of a washer is rarely a good omen, but every rule in Irish lore has 1,000 exceptions.
Huh. That is just as foreboding as I thought it would be. It makes me wonder how many times this was reported. Because I mean, like, unless if this is like purely, a myth, I would like to think that it stemmed from the fact that people did, in fact, see this and interact with this. And it makes me wonder how many times that happened. And like if every time like something bad happened afterwards.
There are many stories of people whom she has given these warnings to who have died. Usually more famous people who were about to go to war. She warned them not to do it. They did it anyway, and then they died.
Moving on from the story, I guess my first question to you is what was it like meeting the Morrigan? How did you, come across her?
I have a story for that one. My first encounter with the Morrigan, I was a heathen witch in pain.
In pain?
I had lost all of my money to a manipulative ex who was
Mm.
convincing friends I was a horrible, untrustworthy person. His malicious lies cut my freelance to $0, and I was constantly on edge, making prayers to no deity in particular. I didn't even want to work with a deity. That evening, I had crawled into bed and slept fitfully. A beautiful woman stood in a throne room. The floor was white marble. There were two marble pillars. A blood-red carpet led to the throne, and upon it sat a fair-skinned woman with long dark hair and dark eyes. She radiated an air of reverence, someone with great power who was to be respected. I was not scared. Her smile was calm, and demeanor patient and inviting. I approached her throne, stopping a few paces away, unsure what to do or say. From here, I could see most of her clothing consisted of inky black feathers, and though she said nothing, I assigned her the name Raven Queen. She stood, walked past me, and as I turned to her, I felt a need to follow her around the room. No words were exchanged. We stayed silent, but I could tell she was evaluating my worth the longer I stayed. When I awoke, I told friends of the Raven Queen and was surprised when they expressed jealousy. This is when I began to research her and pay attention to the signs that she may be calling out to me. I felt safe and slept fine after that.
Wow. So, okay, question time. First things first. I'm assuming that you had no idea that she existed prior to the stream.
I had no idea.
So, like, this is absolutely fascinating because if you've never seen her before, you didn't know what to call her, and you randomly had this dream about her when you hit a low point in your life. I mean, I know your dreams can be extremely vivid. We've talked about, some of your nightmares and some of your prophetic dreams. And so, I mean, like, when you tell me that you have, like, a vivid dream, I know you mean it's like a vivid dream.
I don't write down my dreams either. The reason I wrote this one down in particular is because my friends had expressed jealousy and were talking about, do you think it's the Morrigan? Do you think this is actually the Raven Queen? Both names that she goes by.
I mean, I'm trying to rack my brain and see if there's anywhere that I can poke a hole, but honestly, I'm not thinking of anything. That I mean, it sounds pretty clear cut.
Why do you think I work with her?
Well, yeah, I mean not
She called out to me and I went, well,
So I mean, it was very literal. This wasn't just like that you saw her picture online or a book in a store and you felt drawn to it. Like no, like in your opinion, you literally met her in your dreams as, in the most literal sense possible.
which is often a way that she does come to people to get new followers is through dreams.
So this is something that other people have experienced as well. Like this
Correct.
almost exact same dream, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I'm blown away by that. You have not told me that story before. And I'm glad you didn't. I really can't think of a single way to attempt to debunk that. It really just is what it is.
So I just started praying to her because I thought, well, I don't have anybody else, and she's clearly calling to me. If this is, in fact, the Morrigan,
Mm-hmm.
I will pray to her and see what happens. And sure enough, things started to slowly get better.
So why do you think it was her? Have you thought about or wondered why it was her specifically and not a different god?
I've thought about it from time to time. I think that the reason she may have chosen me is because she appears to pick up lost children.
Aww.
And while I am not a child, I mean, to her, I'm a child.
Well, I mean, in a lot of biblical texts, it's God is seen as the father. I mean, it makes sense, but it's funny because this is my while you're telling me this story, I'm having my own internal mini monologue thought process, and it's funny how this went in my head, which was basically one, okay, yeah, this sounds really cool, really real. I can't think of, like I said, I can't think of any way to debunk it. The second thing I thought of was, well, if she is really that real, I wonder if there was a way that she would show herself to me. And then three, I was like, well, she wouldn't because she knows she's real. Why does she give a shit what you think? Because that's the vibe I get, right? So
You're
it's
not
just
even a witch. Why would she
exactly.
bother?
No, but so that was the thought process in my head. I was like, wow, I wonder if she could, send me some kind of, sign and be like a way for me to solidify, her in my own reality. And then I was like, amend that thought because she would never.
I
And it's not, I don't even think it's just because I'm not a witch. I feel like even if I was and I did practice, she has her own shit going on, it seems, and
okay, so the thing with the Morrigan, which I'm going to clear up for people, is she's not like the other gods or goddesses.
I'm not
Don't
like
make
other
that joke,
gods.
bitch. I knew you were gonna do that.
It came out of my mouth. I couldn't control it. It just happened.
You and your word vomit. Get that shit out. Go get the mop. She is often, often she does not communicate with her followers non-stop. Gods from other religions, let me just say, I don't know, Greek. Greek gods are more likely to interact with you than the Morrigan. I've had conversations where she's been like, is that all? Like she wanted me to just leave her alone, and I was like, yes, that's everything. Thank you.
Which is exactly why she would never waste even like a second on me. I am so off her radar.
She's a busy woman.
And that's so valid. And I mean, like, I guess the vibe that I get, why the hell does she care if I validate her existence? She
She
doesn't. She
she
doesn't.
doesn't.
I
She
and I know
doesn't.
that. It's just, again, this is like just how my brain is trying to rationalize it, and I have to like talk that down and be like, what, you think you're special? But
You're special to me.
I'm special in other ways. I'm a good friend. I'd like to think I make a good joke here and there. I don't think that I'm goddess follower material though. But uh I guess my next question would be, so when you say that you communicate with her, I think you've mentioned in the past that when you say that she has spoken to you at times, obviously it's not like a constant thing or every time you interact with her that, like, that you've mentioned that she speaks to you. But
Mhm.
when you do mention that, I think you said a while back that it is actually auditory to you.
This is dependent on what it is. Sometimes it can be auditory, but oftentimes it is just pure instinctual. What do you call it?
Feeling?
No, when you like have that extreme instinct to go do something, like it's impulse. It is an extreme impulse to do something that you would normally not do. Like I've had situations where the Morrigan has told me, "I want that. Buy me that." And I'm like, okay. And a lot of times she doesn't care about material objects at all. But when I was reading off things that she was associated with, I read off the stones, which are obsidian, rubies, jet, amethyst, garnet, bloodstone, and clear quartz. After I finished reading, she just kept repeating in my head, obsidian, 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 obsidian. I want obsidian. And I was like, why do you want obsidian? So I went on Etsy and bought just a thing of just raw obsidian. I actually texted my mother, I need obsidian. She wants obsidian. I just said obsidian. She was like, what? And I was like, she wants obsidian.
So now you do follow her. And what is that like?
It can be stressful. It can be fine and calm. It can be very happy kind of feeling. I can feel very protected. I actually
Mhm.
always feel very protected now.
Mhm.
Whereas I used to get really anxious, like, say, being outside in the darkness. Now I am no longer anxious and actually enjoy it. It's like a very calm, peaceful, nothing can harm me because she is here.
Mhm.
She is here with me. If anything were to happen, I'd be okay. And that's just how I feel, which is terrifyingly optimistic, but okay.
A little bit to a fault, but it hasn't hurt you yet.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, she saved me from a skunk that one time.
Yeah, you did tell that story.
That instinct of stop and then look to your right.
And skunk.
I was like, oh, skunk, hello.
Morgan, like, I don't want you stinky. I don't want you stinking up my altar. But
I'd go inside and be like, what do I do? Google.
what else do you want to tell me about this experience that you have in your relationship with her?
Just that I'm sure she's different to each follower. But
Mm-hmm.
for me, she's very soft and loving and motherly, which
Mm-hmm.
I think I've mentioned before.
Cool mom.
Um, except right now, she's a bit slightly bitey because she wants things from me and I haven't been listening enough.
Oh.
She keeps sending crows, which are her messengers. When she sends a crow for you, it is a sign of an imminent message that she wants to give you. I have ignored all of the messages and she has not talked to me as a result. So I got worried because I thought, I've pissed her off. She doesn't want to work with me anymore. And I have really bad anxiety. I do that all the time. No matter what it is, it's like, this person's angry at me. They don't want to talk to me anymore. When in reality, they're not mad at all and they're
Mm-hmm.
busy.
Of course.
It's always like
I
that.
feel like that's relatable. I feel like a lot of people get that insecurity. Yeah.
So I've got a lot of problems, but so do a lot of other people. So yeah, fight me.
If I fight you, you'd win.
I would.
I mean, I could pick you up, but you could punch me really hard.
Anyway, back to Morrigan. So I've been ignoring the crows. She's been unhappy with me. I'm now giving her as many offerings as possible and trying not to ask for things. But what she seems to want me to do is to do my shadow work more and to try and free my spirit up so that I'm able to work with her better. And I will discuss shadow work more in depth, but a very basic description would be that it helps make you more confident and it's easier to do any sort of spell or communication if you have a freer spirit.
Yeah, so we're gonna have a whole episode on that once you get like more in tune with that part of your craft. Because
Once I listen to my goddess,
so my question to you is, why did you ignore her messages?
I was honestly busy with my commissions.
Wow.
I was
Wow.
busy with the work that she gave me because I asked for it.
Wow.
I'm a
Wow.
horrible person. I'm a bad witch. You guys can scold me in the
Nah, I'll let
comments.
Morgan skull you. Skull you? Skull. Fuck.
I don't want her to scold me. It's scary.
It's not my place to determine your punishment. That's up to her.
I don't know what her punishment for me would be.
Buy more obsidian.
Buy more obsidian. It'd
But
probably be buy some freaking rubies. Oh
yeah,
my god, those are expensive.
don't put the idea in her head.
I've already put it in there.
What's the most recent interaction you've had with her?
1 hour ago.
And
I was talking to her about wanting certain insecurities to go away, uh,
mhm.
to which I was asking for assistance in me fixing the problem rather than, her fixing it.
Mhm.
And I was like, but you don't have to, it's all up to you, flip of a coin. And her response was, work on your shadow work. And I was like, okay, I'll do that.
Mom, can you come help me with this? Did you do your homework yet?
That's basically what it is.
Do your homework and then I'll come help you.
Do your homework and then maybe I'll come help you is more like it.
um,
I love her so much. I love her sass. I love her strength. I love the
she got good
oh my god,
energy.
the anger is terrifying.
She got good energy.
When somebody talked shit about her to me, she
Mhm.
immediately threw all this anger into me and was like, kill them. And I was like, I know how to hold back. I'm not gonna do that.
It is time for murder.
That's pretty much what she was fucking saying.
So basically, some random asshole online talks shit about, actually the Morrigan said like some awful shit. And then
Mm-hmm.
Morrigan responded with saying, my loyal follower, it is time to death.
Yep. And she also gave my babby witch friend one of her crow feathers that I have, and I never knew why. But he was so afraid because he could feel her energy too that the first thing that he grabbed was that feather to calm himself.
So when you say that she gave him the feather, do you mean that you sent him the feather because she asked you to?
Yes. And that's why I was so confused. I was like, why do you want me to give him a feather? Okay.
You'll find out. Don't fucking question me.
I mean, I try not to question her at this point.
I mean, I think that's probably for the best, maybe.
Like, if she wants me to do something or she wants something and it's not ridiculously insane, I'll probably do it.
Do you think she herself makes you more powerful?
If I work with her, yes.
So only when you channel her energy or offer her something, your magic is stronger?
Yes, because it's two entities working together. So it's me working with a very strong goddess. It's like if I was lifting up a very heavy box and I said, Emma, I want you to come help.
Mhm.
And you took the other side of the box.
And helped you carry it. So I think
Yes.
the idea that a lot of people may have about, witches in general due to popular culture,
Oh,
obviously
I love them.
I know. So obviously take it with a grain of salt. This is just an example, but
It's
obviously in the
funny.
past, a lot of people, associated, witchcraft with, the devil. So the idea was, in some form or fashion, the devil gave, witches their power. So I think the idea behind that is like once you like, find your deity, that, power is yours. So in
I
this
do need to
case,
state that you don't have to have a deity,
so
guys.
that's right. So like that's what I'm saying is before you met the Morrigan, you basically had your own spirit and you tapped into your own, magical ability that you have just by being a spiritual person, correct?
It was a lot weaker, but yes.
So, and then after you met the Morrigan, your power stayed the same unless if you asked her for help specifically.
Yep. But I did
So,
also become a better witch over
well, and that's just
time,
like practice.
but that was because of practice that
Yeah.
I had to do with her.
Right. So I think that's a misconception of like as soon as you like give yourself to a deity that they just like give you power, just like
Yeah, they don't give you
happily.
anything like that.
So
You have to work for it.
I think the box analogy honestly was really solid. I mean it makes perfect sense. Yeah. So I guess
I'm glad that helps.
if I was to like put the, what I just said into that same analogy, it would be like you can't lift the box at all on your own. And then one day the Morrigan would come up to you and say, "Hey, I like you." And then all of a sudden you can lift the box like perfectly and you have super strength and you never have to do anything ever again.
Yeah, that would be the false one.
Yeah, so I think that's like, or at least in some way, that's the misconception about like witchcraft and power.
And the truth is that you can lift the box with difficulty, but you can lift the box.
On your own.
And then she comes by and says, I'll help you with that.
Do this, and I'll do this, and this.
Yeah, it's a give and take relationship. This is not somebody ruling over you, and this is not you ruling over somebody else. This is a give and take relationship.
It's not like a blind faith kind of thing. It's not like if she, said jump, you'd say how high.
Yeah, no, I'd be like, okay, but why am I jumping?
And you're not afraid to challenge that?
I am terrified to challenge the Morrigan.
I don't
You
mean
should never do
I don't
that.
mean, when I say challenge, I don't mean like, hey, let's fucking duel.
One thing the Morrigan will not allow is she doesn't really take
Shit.
no for an answer. Like if she has her mind seriously set on something, she wants you to do that.
Mhm.
You are doing that. But it's very rare in my experience that she'll do anything like that. The only experience that I had with it was the obsidian, where she was
Right.
like, obsidian. She was very insistent. I don't know what would have happened if I didn't buy it.
Maybe she just would have left you like right then and there.
I think that's a bit extreme.
I don't know.
We'd been together a couple months.
At that
That sounds
point.
like a relationship.
Yeah, we've been seeing each other for like a couple months now. Sometimes she just like tells me to like buy her stuff. And like, like I can. So for the most part, I'm like cool with it. But like sometimes I'm like, why don't you just like buy your own stuff? Get a job.
I bet she has a job.
Well, where's the
I
money? No, what I actually find interesting is that it seems like if she wants you specifically to buy something and you don't have the money, that she'll help you get the money in order to buy something. It's not like
yeah, that's the thing.
you don't have to like sell your house for
There's a
her.
story with a different god. So there's a story that I saw on TikTok. I'll flat out say
We love a TikTok story.
it's really funny always. So it was Hades who was saying that he wanted a new candle, and the person was like, "No, I haven't set up your altar yet." Blah blah blah. And he's like, "I want a new candle." So eventually they cave and they get him a new candle, but they don't say anything about how it smelled like that really bad boy's body spray.
Hacks?
Yeah, Axe. It smelled like Axe.
Ew.
And so when they said that to their friend, immediately they get the response from Hades of, "Get me a new candle. I want a different candle."
I don't want to smell like Axe body spray. I'm the goddamn god of the underworld.
And I was just like, that is the most hilarious thing.
I love that.
So, something like that is very, I want this, go get this.
Right. Wow. So
They could have just kept saying no, but,
So we are coming up on time. Is there anything else that you want to, mention about the Morrigan before we close out, or anything that the Morrigan might be asking you to say?
Honestly, all I'm hearing is blow out your candle.
Okay. In that case, I guess that means we're done.
Yeah, I guess so.
All right. Well, the Raven Queen has spoken, so I guess we'll finish up here. This month we're going to be talking a lot about gods and goddesses. This was just another part of Arthur's timeline, but I have so many questions I want to run by you. To give a little taste of just like I want to know about your opinion on mainstream religion. I want to know your opinion on the mainstream aspects of religion, God, Jesus, demons.
Do I have to taste it
You
though?
don't have to actually taste it. The tasting is for me. But on that note, you guys have a lot to look forward to this month. If you're curious about working with deities and Arthur's take on mainstream religion as someone who works with a deity. So keep an eye out for that. And if you guys can, if you like what we do, we always, always, always appreciate any type of engagement. If you're on YouTube and you can leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment, even anything to help us get in daddy algorithm's good graces. Honestly, if you guys comment, we will reply to it. At the very least, we will respond to the comment directly, but we might also talk about your comment specifically if it relates to the episode, or if you have a question, we'll mention it, that you asked that in the next episode.
And if you're special enough, maybe you'll get a love hurt.
But yeah, we really appreciate you guys. If you want to talk to Arthur or I, we have a Discord. We're on there basically all the time. We lurk. Uh, it's still pretty small. If you guys, have questions that you want to ask, directly to one of us, link for our Discord is in the description below. We are so excited to, meet new people, and we want to hear your opinions and have discussions with you. And
I'm
here,
having fun discussing things with them.
it's so fun. The more the merrier, honestly. But yeah, on that note, I kind of want to close out the episode with saying thank you, Raven Queen. Just because I feel compelled to. I
Yes.
mean,
Thank you, Morrigan.
being the subject of an entire episode of a podcast, I don't know how she feels about it, but I appreciate it. So yeah, I guess you have to go blow out a candle. So we'll sign off. On that note, guys, stay spooky.
Bye.